go! Hi, I'm Lynn.
And I'm Tanya.
From InvestInYourself
.com.
All right, so today we weren't 100% sure what to talk about, but we actually had a really good discussion when I arrived here.
Yes, and I would really like to continue that
discussion on camera.
I kind of wish we just had the discussion that we had before this on camera.
Yeah, well, that was just really.
But let's recap then.
Okay.
And move forward.
So basically, I'm doing a lot of research on the law of allowing and the art of allowing, kind of the two. So the art of allowing comes more from Abraham Hicks, in the sense that it's just, mastering it basically, right? And practicing it. So there's like what the law is, and then there's the art of allowing it. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like so I've been doing some research and breaking down those two philosophies. When somebody feels the need to be right, when somebody feels like you, on any topic, on any opinion, on anything, like if their view on the sky color being green, then it is green and there's no change in their mind. And everybody else is wrong because of that philosophy or whatever. It could be any situation, but that feeling to be right. And that's just kind of what spawned it, because when I was sitting here kind of doing some of my research and kind of looking around and writing stuff down, and that was the biggest thing. I was like, well, why do people need to be right? Why do they feel like they need to be right? So I'm going to ask you, why do they feel that need to be right?
I've done a lot of research on the law of allowing as well, and I need to know the law of allowing really, really well because it's something that I teach. So there's two parts of the law of allowing, right? The first is allowing yourself to be who you are. The second is allowing others to be who they are. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I'm going to take a leap of faith here and throw in my spiritual beliefs as well. When you feel, and this is just my opinion, okay? This is just from what I learn and I feel, okay? I don't want to say that this is the way it is, okay? Because it's not for everybody, but this resonates with me. I feel that, and because I spent the majority of my life feeling like I needed to be right. Okay, so I've been there, done that. So from thinking back on why I felt like I needed to be right, it was judgment. And it was a reflection of insecurity from within, projected onto others. Okay, so now the second part of the law of allowing is allowing others to be who they are in their own authenticity. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I could sit there and go, you should be allowing me to make my own choice and not telling me that I should be right. And you're not practicing the law of allowing. You should be practicing the law of allowing. Yeah. Well, truthfully, I'm not practicing the law of allowing by telling somebody else that they're not practicing the law of allowing. Yeah. Does that make sense? So my spiritual beliefs come into play because I believe everybody is set here, is put on this earth or in these bodies or whatever resonates with you, and they have their own journey. Yeah. They have their own journey. They have their own life lessons. They're experiencing everything that they are for a reason. Again, going back to what I first said, like when somebody feels the need to be right, I believe it is kind of an insecurity. You're hanging on, you're holding on, you're leashing on, and you're projecting that onto someone else.
That's what the law is. Now, and how to practice it, right? So how Abe Hicks words it is make peace with all things as they are.
Yes.
So that's how Abraham Hicks describes the art of allowing. Mm-hmm. So just like you said, right? Mm-hmm. Just allow everything to be as is.
And that's a tough practice. Like really I still, is. like I'll catch myself in placing judgments on others and circumstances and, the shouldn'ts and should'ves and things like that. And it's like, you got to catch yourself in that moment and think, where the hell am I that I'm placing judgment on another person?
Yeah. Like, I think, too, when you're not allowing and when you have that need to always be right, like, I don't know, if it's just like, look at how much more stress you feel like you'd be placing on yourself. Like even just thinking about the fight. Like, so for me, if I was to fight saying CrossFit is the all way and there's no other way for working out, you got to do CrossFit. But like, if I had to like always defend that and just never allow people to have their opinion on what works for them, like I'd be stressed to the max all the time.
Okay, so here's a great example. For I'm spiritual, and for me, God is the universe. Okay, source from within. For others, it's God. Okay, for others, it's Buddha. For others, it's divinity. Whatever the case. Now, one of the things that I am very proud of is that I've learned how to embrace all religions and beliefs, because they all have something to teach me. They all serve me. Yes, this is where I'm most comfortable. I meditate rather than pray, but it's all kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
And how I would practice the law of allowing in that case would be allowing others to believe in whatever resonates with them and being okay with that.
Because at the end of the day, wouldn't it just be better to get along with someone and just kind of say, well, that's your belief, this is my belief, and then just not talk about that and just talk about something else?
Yeah.
Like, there's just so many more things in life to have to want to always be right about.
Yeah.
And it's just, I had to experience this a little bit this past weekend, and you just, like when people are in that judgment place and they're really throwing it at you, like I just kind of, I don't know, sing the Jeopardy song in my head and let them talk about whatever it is they're talking about, because clearly they need to feel the need to whatever. I used to be like that too. I used to be very bullheaded, believe it or not.
I did. I was. Ask my sisters.
Like bullheaded to the max, where it was like I was always okay with like allowing people to do specific things or whatever and have their own beliefs and stuff like that. But it was always like when I had a point that I needed to make and that I knew was right.
You had to make it heard.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And now it's like, well, what was the point of all that?
Just stress. Just
it was
causes
so
stress,
much more
really.
stress. Yeah.
Eh.
And even you know what though, it took divorcing my husband to kind of get to that point for me.
Really?
Yeah. I was pretty good at allowing a lot of stuff, but some of the stuff that had come out post marriage, you kind of go back and you start to reflect and you're like, okay, that makes sense.
One challenge that I have with the law of allowing, I have a really challenging time. Okay, so let me just give you a little bit of background. Here's where I suffered in the past, okay? I don't immunize my kids.
Mm-hmm.
And I believed in it so much that I would push it on other people. Not push it, but talk about it, right? And it's like, I don't want to hear about it. That's where that left hand, right hand thing comes in, right? And then I was very, like, from the highest end of the spectrum, obsessed about what my kids ate, what we ate, being completely 100% healthy. And then, before that, I was, like, on the other end of the spectrum. Now I'm just in between. I'm like, meh, you guys want that? Go ahead. Let's just have more of this, and allow them to make their choices when it comes to their diet. And that's where my challenge lies, is being okay with them choosing what they want to eat, because I'm still like, it's ingrained, because we healed my kids through diet and supplements, right? They both had something different, but they were both ill. So then I was so obsessed about it. And now I'm having a really hard time because it's ingrained that if they don't eat properly, they're going to get sick.
Yeah.
I think that's where my challenge lies.
I think at the end of the day, like when it comes to that, if your kids are eating, well, it's just like an adult, right? You got to think of it. They're little adults. They're just in smaller form. And
I know, yeah.
They're just, that's it. Like 80% good, 80% of the time. It's got to be that 80-20 rule. It has to be.
Throwing a whole bunch of that negative energy and focusing it on what they ate, right? Yeah. So they're going to have it in their little heads going, if I eat this, it's not good. I'm just like, you know what I mean? It's better to just enjoy and enjoy what you're eating. And then like everything is energy, guys. Food has so much energy to it. Like, and that's a fact. That's a scientific fact. Like the food that you pull from the ground, you know what I mean? Everything, it grew, you know what I mean? The animals, everything's energy.
So if you vibrate resistance to it, you just create and attract more resistance to it.
Perfect. Yes, I actually spoke, okay, so when I started unschooling my kids, that's something that I had to practice, was allowing them, okay, so unschooling is basically having the child lead you, right? So yes, I would supply them with all of this information and ask them to take their supplements and blah, 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 cook them wonderfully tasting meals. But if they wanted to choose something, then it's kind of like, okay, well, yes, you can do. Because it's their choice, right? You kind of follow their lead. Now, when it came to meat, we always blessed our meat. Always blessed our meat. We'd thank the animal, and that comes from our Aboriginal culture as well, right? Like, you bless the food that you're eating. You bless the meat that you're eating. Other people pray, thank God. I thank the animal for giving up his life so that I'm able to be nourished. Well, so I contacted this unschooling coach, the one that she doesn't like, and she's like, I have such a, what did you say then?
I just said if she would be, I just think that if you handle situations with a lot of aggression and reply back with very judgmental, this is the way and your way is
not
wrong.
Practicing the law of allowing.
Well, that was her intentions towards me.
Yeah.
So because I had commented her on a thing saying not every choice is wrong. Like this is what's right for me. This is what works. So what makes this wrong for you? And then that's when she went on the spiel. And to me, I was just like, well, clearly we don't.
But she
vibrate
has
on the same level.
She has a lot of wonderful information that really assisted me. And she said, when your kid wants to have some pop, which I still grind my teeth at, or whatever, like the chips or the cake at the party or the pizza or whatever it is, she's like, bless it. You bless your meat. All this food has energy. Like, ask them to really enjoy what it is. So I taught them how to bless their food. So now when they're at school and they make their own food choices, they just bless what they're eating. And it's made a huge difference for me.
What?
It releases that resistance against crappy food.
Yeah, and you can kind of go with the same concept for releasing resistance against somebody else that has an opinion on stuff on you. Right? Absolutely. I don't know. Like, you can even, those of you who remember Charlie Brown and you remember how the teacher used to talk, just zip it up and let them do that, and then just listen to that.
But you know what? Many times, maybe we could learn something from them.
Oh yeah, like I'm not saying that girl, like she had whatever. I did not resonate with like anything that she had to say when it was that topic, but she does have a lot of good points. Everybody in this world has a purpose, and everybody in this world you can learn something from. Mm-hmm. I learned that is not ever how I want to coach and how I would ever talk to a potential client. Because anybody that's on your Facebook page or whatever is a potential client. So you just always have to remember that. I listened to this thing this morning, and it was this girl who was talking about having nothing. She had nothing. When she lived in China, she had nothing. And so what she had to do is she was a big fan of Abraham Hicks, and she listened and she listened and she listened, and she really had nothing, but she was always happy. Happy. She had everything that she could ever want. And then I guess their government shut down specific links that couldn't let specific feeds come into the country, I guess, because of whatever politics that they have over there. So she ended up creating. She ended up moving to New York. And she said now she has nothing but fear and resistance towards her future because she finally has everything that she manifested. And now she's holding the resistance to the fear of losing everything. As species, we're forever growing. As a universe, it's forever expanding. Mm-hmm. Like it's not done growing. it's still growing. We're forever adapting. We're forever creating. I mean, we learned medicine from whatever, like the 50s to now, like how much shit has changed because we're forever adapting, we're forever evolving, we're forever evolving. So from there, this girl is so scared. So what in your little brain there, once you've created and manifested something and it comes to you and you have it and you receive it, you high five or whatever, you do your little dance, what would you, like, how would you release the fear of losing it?
That comes to, I think that comes about when you detach yourself from materialistic things.
Okay.
Okay. If she was content and happy having nothing, then she is living proof that you can be content and happy having nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and the materialistic things are just an add-on. So that would be a limiting belief, right?
Okay.
Of many people, of societal programming that societal programming is based on lack and scarcity. In certain places in the world, you show your wealth by how much you offer to others, how much you share with others. And I always use my Oma as an example. Well, I'm going to give you $20 and then I'm going to win some at the casino. Well, it doesn't really work like that once in a while, but you can start off like that, like donating a little bit. It doesn't have to be 10% of your money, but you donate a little bit and then you feel like you're basically generating that feeling of having enough because you're able to give. And it feels good to give. It just automatically feels good to give, right? So you're generating that feeling and you're creating a momentum. You continue it, right? Now, if you're hoarding and you're hanging on to stuff and you have a fear of letting it go, then you're creating that fear of losing it all.
How I think I would have probably made a spin on that and make it a little bit shorter. Is I think once you kind of manifest it, and it's a great way to word it, because you get like, like if I got my gym and stuff like that, like you would get scared because it would be easy to freak out that you could lose it because of the rent and the blah, 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 blah. You got to get the clients in.
If that's where your focus and your intention is and where you are all the time, you're not really going to have room to lose it because that's not what you're attracting.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I think too, though, if you're like this girl who manifested everything, like, do you think that maybe she just forgot how to create a new idea? Because once you got it,
well, she may be feeling bored because it's like, where are you in your journey? She came from nothing, created everything that she's always desired. Now she has it. And now it's like the next transition.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to acquire materialistic things. I'm sorry. You're crazy if you say you don't. Okay. You're going through your own transition there.
Yeah.
But everybody wants to acquire materialistic things and financial wealth because it means freedom and happiness and so on. But when you do reach that point, and like Fabienne says, you reach that $1 million, what are you laughing at? You reach that $1 million, right? And it's like, oh, okay, no biggie. Now what's most important is fulfilling my dharma, finding my passion, my life's mission, and doing that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So maybe she's just is going through that
transition. Well, to me, it would be that forever adapting thing or that forever evolving thing. I mean, I think once you've adapted to specific things and once you've reached and attained specific goals and you've reached certain successes, it's just learning to create anew from there.
Okay. So this wonderful, wonderful person in my life would say to me quite often, you're never happy. You always want more. And it's like, yeah, everybody wants more, right? That's our job as people. We're continuously evolving, right?
Yeah.
Your job is never done. You never finish. You're continuously evolving. You're going, you're continuously growing.
Yeah.
So once you do reach a success, do your best to sit in that and really acknowledge it and celebrate the fact that you've reached that goal. But then you're going to want more. Otherwise, you'd stay stuck. That's where that stuck feeling comes in.
So this we can tie this all together here and make this long journey right back to it. To somebody that's judging and to somebody that has that need to feel right.
Okay.
If they're in those stuck positions, if they're feeling whatever, and they're not willing to admit that they are right, or that they're wrong, sorry, then they can't grow, right? Mm-hmm. So somebody that's willing to, and this is what we had talked about before, what did you say? You said the smartest people in the world are the ones that learn from their mistakes.
No, I believe that the smartest people in the world are those who can admit that, not necessarily that they're wrong, but who can change. Because it means that they can admit that they're wrong and they can learn something new. Well,
they always say that your belief always changes just a little bit as you learn more about whatever it is that in your life. It can tweak it, or it could be whatever. It just leads us right back to you're forever adapting, you're forever growing. So if you stunt that in any way, do you know what I mean? Like, then you're kind of not doing yourself any favors in the sense that you're stunting your growth on what you can expand in your life.
Yeah. I heard somebody, I don't remember who it was, but he's an author and he's written many books. And about 20 years ago, he wrote this book, and man, did he believe in this book. And it was kind of like a self-help book. And then he went on to write a book now that basically contradicts everything that he said in his first book, right?
Stephen Pressfield had written that in his
okay. Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, there's a prime example right there. Brilliant. So it's all where you're at in your journey, right? Yeah. Yeah,
for sure. So if you feel like you're in those I have to be right moments, and if you feel like it's got to be my way moments, maybe take a step back and look at why it has to be in that specific way. Mm-hmm. Think about why maybe you're not allowing that door to open. And that's where also that law of allowing kind of comes in here. Allowing that new information to come in, allowing yourself to learn from it, allowing yourself to learn from a situation that you might not all the time be right in. And would you want to be right all the time, honestly? Like, I know I wouldn't be. Honestly, I would not want to be right all the time, because then I would never learn anything.
I'm right most of the time. I'm just kidding.
All right. Have a great week, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.